Hey going guys, welcome back to another video on this LS400. I've been pretty busy over the last couple of weeks welding the flares on the body. I run into a bit of an issue the other day where the flares didn't exactly reach the end of the panel, that they had to go where they needed to go in order for them to fit and line up with the wheel arch properly, which ended up making the flares probably about an inch or so, or probably about 15 mil, a little bit too short at each end. So I made these tiny little panels with a body line in it, welded them on, so now the flares look like they were meant for this UFC 10. In fact, the flares were for a UFC 20 or the next model up. So yeah, a few little changes had to be made to make them suit. So in this video, guys, I wanna do a little bit of grinding, tidy up a few little bits here and there, so I can start sanding all the big deep grind marks that I've made on the panels back. So we've got a nice smooth surface to do some rust treatment and getting them in epoxy primer. I actually got my micron meter and had a check over the panels to see if there was any prior repairs or body filler used, and I was actually pretty happy to see that there was actually no body filler or repairs, that the paint on the panels were actually the original color from the factory. So there's no product on there at all, so it was real fast and quick and easy to remove the paint back to bare steel. But because I used a 80 grit disc on a roll lock, I've made some grind marks on the panel. So what I'm going to do, guys, in this video is get all the panels on the car ready to be rust treated and then epoxy primed. I won't be doing the epoxy priming and the rust treatment in this video. I'll be doing that tomorrow night, so there'll be another video coming up soon where we can solely talk about the rust treatment, how to do it, what steps are involved to get a really good job done. And also the mixing ratios and the application process of the epoxy primer. We'll do a little bit of masking and stuff like that, but yeah, you'll see more about that in my next video. So with that said, I'll give you a quick look at what these guards and everything looks like, and then we'll get into this video. Alright guys, all the welding and grinding's finished on the Lexus, all the flares are on. I'm pretty much happy and ready to start doing the rest of the panel work to get it prepped up for the rust treatment and epoxy. As you can see here, I'm wearing gloves. Very important when you're doing any prep work for rust treatment and epoxy that you wear like gloves. The reason why is the oil on your fingers will transfer onto the steel and cause rust. You wouldn't think so, but 3 days ago, I sanded this whole flare back. It was shiny steel. You can almost see your reflection in it. 3 days later, look at the surface rust. And you can even see the outline of my fingers right here. That's after 3 days. So imagine if you primed and painted that, what that's actually doing underneath your paint. If this was to get bubbles come up from surface rust, I'd pretty much have to paint the whole side of the car again to fix it. So very important that you do everything properly. We've got a really good rust treatment supplied by Dan on Body Shop. What we're going to be focusing here on, guys, is wearing gloves. I've got a lot of grind marks on the panel from my roll lock. We're going to be sanding them out. I want a nice, clean, smooth surface. Finished in 180, suitable for the epoxy primer. I want to bare metal the rest of the guard. I know there's no prior repairs on the panel. I've had a look at the film thickness, the micron thickness. It's all at factory spec. So yeah, we're not going to find any hidden surprises, which is good. So let's get some 80 grit out. We'll turn the compressor on. Let's start sanding. Alright guys, guys, I'm pretty happy with the results that I've got with welding the flares on the Lexus. I've never welded flares on a body before, so it was a new experience for me, and I didn't want to do any content regarding how to weld flares on a Lexus because I didn't really want to show something that's probably not the best way to do it. But I managed to get all 4 corners done. I'm pretty happy with the results. As I said earlier, I had to make up some little end caps for the flares. That's all done. Everything's ground back and sanded with 80 and 180 grit. So now we can, in the next video, start looking at how to apply the rust treatment and also the epoxy primer with a little bit of masking in between. With that said, guys, appreciate everyone watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you on my next video.